Twilight's Nightmare, Chapter 21, Part 3. Time passed, only her connection to the moon letting her know how long. Without it, she would have no idea if it had been only an hour or a whole year. Unexpectedly, she started glowing. She tensed, power rushing to her horn. She noticed it was the familiar glow of her lineage spell that washed over her, the intense glow indicating that she was the target's parent or child. Luna stared in bemusement at her glowing foreleg.
This is impossible,
she thought.
There is no pony alive that the spell could be cast on to make me glow like this.
The filly bursting from a teleport and wrapping their hooves around Luna's neck was either the least dangerous assassin or Twilight's daughter. If it were an attack, she would have been defeated. Her only reaction was her hoof moving to help support Star's weight a full second after the impact.
Mom! I found another mom!
Star's joyful voice was powerful enough to push Luna's mane back. Luna could feel all eyes in the room as they turned on her. The long years of her life allowed her to keep her poise, but they could do nothing to hide the shock that she felt. Looking to where her senses told her Twilight was, she met the mare's dumbstruck eyes. For long moments, both mares just stood there. Star lit her horn, and in a flash of magenta light, Twilight was teleported right in front of Luna, Star's aura pulling her closer so the little filly could hug both of them. The smaller alicorn was still frozen, her only reaction being tiny twitches and flicks of her ears.
Twilight?
Luna asked in a calm voice. There was no response from the mare.
Is she in shock?
Luna wondered.
I have two princesses as mommies!
Star cheered, a foreleg hugging each of them. Pinky cheered in response, jumping up and down in the crowd. Luna sat, taking the weight of Star with her wing, allowing the enforced hug to be less precarious for the energetic filly. There was no hint of the hesitation or the fear that had caused Star to avoid her. Every feature of the adorable little foal spoke only of how overjoyed she was. In whisper speak, Luna questioned the lavender alicorn.
Twilight Sparkle? Perchance was there a dalliance that we were unaware of? Not that we would have refused such a boon to one of our saviors such as thyself,
she said. Luna thought back to her outings, taking other forms to escape the chains of her duty for a time.
If Twilight did the same, is it possible that we encountered each other and simply did not realize?
Luna's words broke through Twilight's shock. She blushed as her eyes met Luna's. There was a desire in her gaze that she seemed desperate to hide. Many different things were flashing behind her eyes, unlike Celestia's carefully moving game pieces. This seemed more like Twilight was having an argument with herself.
What's a dalliance?
Star responded.
How did a unicorn hear that?
Luna thought. Twilight's blush became volcanic as a few motes of fire danced along her mane. She then teleported a dictionary to Star.
Luna, do you happen to know how reliable that spell is? I looked at the spell work and it seems fairly competent. Completely. But I'm more interested in who cast my spell upon you, little Star.
Luna inquired.
Sweetie Belle said it brought good luck to entire families,
Star said meekly before her smile returned.
And it worked! So...
Twilight said.
Cadence, would you be so kind as to bring Sweetie Belle here?
Luna's mental communication carried an edge of command.
Yes, we seem to be both the parents of this adorable little foal,
Luna said, smiling warmly at Star.
A foal? Me? With a foal?
She could hardly believe it. She ran every single check that she could think of to prove that she wasn't in a dream, even retreating into her bastion for just a moment. Twilight's horn was lit, her stance was fearful, and her wings ready to take flight, and unless Luna was mistaken, she had her horn prepared to cast a teleport.
So, Princess Luna? What?
She said.
We'll talk soon,
Luna said, turning to face the approaching ponies. Cadence led Rarity and the requested Sweetie Belle. The glowing alicorns and Luna's now official bearing had cleared plenty of open space around them for the three ponies to join them. In the background, Pinky was darting around changing the party banners. She was getting some of the other ponies to help.
Sister's going to be so jealous of me,
Luna thought with humor, as she read one congratulating her on finding out that she had a filly. It still amazed her how Pinky could be ready for any sort of event with zero notice.
Princess Luna,
Rarity said, bowing. Luna nodded.
You are here acting as young Sweetie Belle's guardian? Yes, Your Highness. Be at ease, she has done nothing wrong. I simply have a few questions.
Luna, keeping her best friendly smile, turned to Sweetie Belle.
I have not seen this spell for a very long time, so might I ask how you learned it and why you cast it on your friend?
Luna said, nodding towards the little star still held by her wing.
The nice stallion gave me this.
Sweetie said, her aura lifting a rune-encrusted gem from her mane.
He said it was a good luck spell, and to cast it on Star as his gift for the party.
A magenta aura snatched the gem from Sweetie.
A spell gem,
Twilight declared. Star teleported to Twilight, examining the gem. It was apparently just as much of an interest to her as her mother. Luna kept her smile at that part off of her face.
I read about these.
Star impossibly responded yet again in whisper speak. Mother and daughter kept talking back and forth about magic theory, unheard by any but the Alicorns.
Can you point out the stallion?
Luna asked. In the corner of her vision, Luna noticed Cadence looking distracted. She was concentrating on something. Sweetie looked around before shaking her head.
He's not here. Are you able to describe him?
Sweetie paused, and then her expression became confused.
He was just sort of normal looking. He must have been using an I'm not important spell.
Star spoke up, looking from the scroll that she was writing on.
No pony here has any negative intent towards Star or Twilight, and there are 2 ponies over in the corner that don't trust you, but that's the worst here. I can't sense any threat.
Cadence mentally reported. Luna looked into her shadow, bundled everything that she had just found out into a dream spell, and gave it to her pet. The weight of the Tantibus left her shadow, darting off unseen, to relay the short dream to her guards outside.
My clever little Star.
Twilight said, her aura pulling Star into a hug. The 2 lavender mares turned their attention back to the gem. Twilight spoke in whisper speak.
Do you see these marks here and here? That means that this was made by modern tools. 6% less efficient when it comes to using the gem, but takes less than a quarter of the time to create.
Except for Pinky, Twilight's friends and family moved closer, and the shock of the reveal now long faded.
You know, when you said it was not that simple, I was expecting one of your non-pony friends. And that's not Princess Luna.
Twilight Velvet said to Twilight.
Oh,
Twilight tried to laugh.
Well...
Luna raised a single imperious eyebrow, looking at Velvet.
Not that that's a problem, Your Highness.
Velvet said, bowing hastily.
It's just... unexpected.
Nightlight pressed against Velvet's side, clearly lending support even if he had no words to add.
Are you really the... other parent of Twilight's filly here?
Applejack asked.
Unless this is a dream or Discord playing a rather cruel joke on us, then yes.
Luna answered, smiling as she turned her eyes to Star again.
But just to be sure.
Luna lit her horn, dispelling the original spell and recasting it herself. After receiving the same results, she nodded. Star's aura enveloped her whole family, and Luna had to fight back her combat training as multiple ponies were thrown at her. They only slowed down at the last second, ending in a pony pile of a hugged center on Little Star. The sounds of minor complaints and discomforts of the mortal ponies could be heard as Twilight giggled.
Oh, you need to be a little more careful when doing that to non-alicorns. Sorry, every pony,
Star said. Every pony extracted themselves from the pony pile, settling into more comfortable positions, Star claiming a place between Luna and Twilight.
How I have a daughter is the pertinent question, Twilight.
Cadence cast a sound barrier around the group, and Luna nodded her thanks.
Well...
Twilight took a calming breath.
You remember when we...
Twilight's jaw twitched.
You remember when you returned from the moon? Luna, do you know how Foal's wellsprings are formed?
Cadence asked.
It is from the meeting of the parents' wellspring during an act of intimacy.
Luna answered.
Well, apparently zapping some pony with a harmony rainbow counts too.
Twilight cut in. Luna could feel a wide grin spread across her face.
So this is harmony blessed? Am I truly forgiven for my transgressions?
She looked with awe at Star.
Mommy Luna?
Star called out, pouncing on her muzzle. Cadence in response giggled.
Wait, so... you're not angry? 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 How could I be angry?
Luna asked.
What is vexing me is where you've been hiding this adorable one.
Star giggled as Luna used her aura to tickle her.
Have you heard of the MSFS?
Cadence asked, and Luna shook her head.
What is it with these ponies these days and their acronyms? It's Magically Suppressed Foal Syndrome.
Cadence explained, although Twilight paled.
Do you mean if I didn't...
She stopped speaking, looking at Star. She leaned closer, wrapping Star in a hug, pressing against Luna in the process. Twilight's shaking and horrified expression spoke volumes of how serious this could be. Luna shifted her wing, concealing her friend's distress from the other ponies in the room. Twilight lent to the embrace, still focused entirely on Star. Cadence placed a gentle hoof on Twilight's back before contacting Luna mentally.
It's when a mother's wellspring is too strong for the foal to separate form and grow their own body. Without the right medical magic, the foal's soul ends up being consumed by the mother. I had to take a potion to avoid it.
Luna's concealing wing pulled Twilight into a hug. Just the thought of being the death of one's own foal, even before they were born, was most unpleasant.
Luna, as the Princess of Love, I ask for your intentions towards little Star.
Cadence said, assuming her official visage. Luna nuzzled Star.
If she accepts, I will gladly take on my role as her mother and officially recognize her as my daughter.
Cadence nodded, turning to Twilight.
You know my answer, as complicated as all of this is. She is our daughter.
Twilight said, looking at Luna. Her eyes rapidly cycled through emotions.
This means that I will have to inform Celestia.
Cadence said.
Do you have to?
Twilight asked, pleadingly.
She is the eldest princess, and because of who we are, this is a matter of state.
Luna regretfully said.
Wait a minute, hold on, I just need to check something.
Twilight said, lighting her horn. A sizable legal tome flew into the room, forcing ponies to dodge aside as it raced over to Twilight and snapped open. Twilight's eyes rapidly danced from page to page, and the book slammed closed with an echoing boom. While the few strands remained popping up, she called out,
Spike! Spike!
Noticing the sound bubble, she pushed her head through it and tried again.
Spike! Spike! I need you to send a message to Princess Celestia right now!
Spike came running, gem dust still on his muzzle. He had a scroll already in claw, prepared to take a letter. Twilight's aura pulled him into the bubble. Ready, he said, one part eager, but 2 parts worried. I don't know why, but for some reason I find it humorous because there's just a whole bunch of mothers and then all the fathers are gone. Anywho, let's get on to our lovable donators. Top donators: Dash of Evergreen, Peter Coulthard, J Tinman, Darkside, and Ponyman. Courier Crucii, Strix, Zar630, Delta Omega, Runescythe 9852, Dospo, Rhiny Dragonwolf, Hunter Norman, Austin Roland, Secret Moon, Tall Rasha, The Toilet Snake, Sword Brother and Mordred, Cerberus, Goulash Eating Hazar, Ronin Wandering, Enderai63, Random Person Man Guy, Easy, Starlight Glimmer, Squiddy Boy, Divity Sanchez, Soul Dragon, Gaggy, Trey, Shadow Drake, Joe Piercy, Alex F, Rainbow Dash, Teal K. Anderson, TV Killer, John Becker, Leon Reynolds, Raven Speedster, Zach Krakow, Mr. ECU, Leslie Prickett, Edgar Garcia, One Kingdom 1, and Nissa Rusan.
Thank you all very much for watching this video, and live life to the fullest.